Alrighty, hello everyone. I'm making another video today and I'm going to be talking more about grocery shopping. So exciting. But today I am going to be discussing some helpful tips on shopping at your local grocer and being able to still save money even if you're not necessarily bulk buying, even if you can't go anywhere else and maybe you just have a local grocery store in your town. We have Shaw's. I know other people have Kroger. I know some other people have, another one. Anyways, I can't remember the name. Aldi. I know some people have Aldi. So this video is really meant for those of you who haven't jumped out into the bulk buying world yet. You're not really sure to where to begin, but you are starting to hone in on your budget because you realize you just can't keep spending what you're spending. You know what I mean? So this video is for you. These are just some tips and tricks on things that I do and don't buy in the grocery store. Some of these tips and recommendations are going to suggest that you don't buy certain things at your regular grocery store and that you do outsource them to something like a local farm. But if that doesn't work for you right now, you don't need to do that. If you can't buy meat from a local farm and you just need to get by week to week buying anything that you can at the grocery store, then go ahead and do that. There's a time for that, and I've had to do that before, and that's totally fine. So these are just my suggestions for you, and do with it what you will. Well, first of all, I'm going to go over things to avoid in the grocery store. So number one thing to avoid in the grocery store is small packaged items, like individually packaged nuts, granola bars that are packaged in plastic. Each individual granola bar is packaged in plastic. Anything that is in small packaging is going to be more expensive, especially when it comes to organic items. Anything that's in small, ready-to-go packages, you can just expect that is going to be way more expensive. Not only that, but it's also really not that great for the environment. I'm not like a huge environmentalist, but I do know it's just a lot more plastic, so I try to avoid that if I can. So instead of buying those small packaged items, you are going to buy the biggest bag of whatever it is that you can find in your grocery store. If it's small little packages of raisins, instead of doing that, you're going to buy a huge package of raisins, the biggest you can find in your grocery store. So that's going to save you money per pound on the item, and it's also going to save a ton of plastic being used. You can use some reusable baggies at home, some Tupperware, whatever works for you, and it's super easy. It's, not that hard either. Like, you take the bag home, whenever you need something, you just put it into a little baggie or put it into a Tupperware and be on your way. That doesn't take a whole lot of prep work, and it's a really easy way to save money. So another thing is buying small bags of basics or small amounts and quantities of basic items. This can include anything like flour, oats, sugar, salt. Don't buy small quantities of these items, especially if you use them often. You want to find the biggest bag in the grocery store that you can possibly find. I know a lot of grocery stores do offer like semi-bulk bags of flour. So you can usually find a 10 or even sometimes a 25-pound bag of flour in your regular grocery store. You might even be able to ask the people who are stocking shelves there if they would sell you a larger bag of flour. You definitely want to do this because these items last a really long time, and when you buy them in small amounts, it's crazy how much more expensive they are. So when you're in the grocery store, you're not going to buy the teeny tiny 1-pound bag of flour. You're not going to buy a little salt shaker this big. You're going to go and look for a huge bag of salt in the grocery store. You're going to buy the biggest bag of sugar, the biggest flour that you can possibly find. And not only will you save money on that, but you'll also be all stocked up in your house, and you won't be without those items when you really need them. So make sure that you do that. I had to get up and make sure that it was recording because I couldn't possibly fathom talking through all this stuff and then having to talk about it again, because I've had to do that. It's the worst. So yeah, buy the largest quantities that you possibly can while you're in the grocery store. A step beyond this would be to buy in bulk and to order from a bulk grocer. You can do this with places like Azar. You can do this on Amazon, which a lot of people don't really realize, but you can purchase bulk items on Amazon and save yourself a ton of money. You can do this at places like Costco or BJ's or really any other large grocery retailer that offers things in bulk. But my personal favorite is Azar. They have the best prices, the most quality products that I've been able to find. But I would have to say, I think Amazon is a close second on this, just because they offer such a wide variety of products, and you usually can find really, really great products on there. It's just going to be still a little bit more expensive than Azar is. So a step beyond buying those bulk, the bigger items in your grocery store would be bulk buying. I'm a bulk buyer all the way, and I would highly recommend it. But if you can't do that right now, you're going to just get what you can at your grocery store. And then number 3 is meat. Particularly high quality meat is so expensive at the grocery store, especially fresh meat at the grocery store. It is so pricey. I think like grass-fed steaks at the grocery store are like $10 a pound. Grass-fed ground beef at my grocer is usually, I want to say, anywhere between like $8 and $10 or $11 a pound in the grocery store. And I don't know about you, but I just cannot afford that. Can't buy that on a regular basis. So a step to do in your local grocer is to obviously purchase those items when they're on sale if possible. You can always ask your grocer if you can buy more amounts of a product, if they'll give you a discount for it. And then what you can also do is shop in the freezer section. A lot of people don't think about this. Places like Trader Joe's are great to do this. My local grocer is awesome for this, but buying meat or other proteins like fish in the freezer section is actually a lot cheaper. You can really find a lot of great deals when you're shopping in that section. Or you can, like I said, buy in bulk at the grocery store. If there's a sale, you seriously want to scoop up as much of it as you possibly can. You can do that with fish in the grocery store as well. And then you're going to come home and you're going to put it in your freezer. Or if you bought a bunch of fresh fish that was on sale and super cheap, you're going to just put it into individual freezer bags. You're going to label it with the date that you put it in there, and you're going to shove it in the freezer. And you've just bought, maybe you've bought enough to last you like the first quarter of the year, and you've locked in that really low price. You saved yourself a ton of money, and it's just the best way to go in the grocery store. If you can avoid entirely buying meat at your local grocer, that is like the best deal that you're going to find, because then you can go to local farms, you can go to local, like we have local fishermen and local seafood places, and we can buy items in bulk when they are running sales, or you can buy a whole animal and you can store that in your freezer, and that is the best deal that you can possibly find for organic or grass-fed meat. It's just the best, and the product itself is a lot better. I know where I live, I could get a whole or a half a cow, I want to say, for like $5 or $5.50 a pound for everything. So you're getting steaks, you're getting roasts, you're getting all that stuff for $5 or $5.50 a pound, and that's much higher quality meat, and it is just much better than the grocery store. But that being said, if you can't do that, like that does require that you take some initial funding and put that down on the meat, because you're spending a larger amount. And you can actually span that out over months and months time period so that you're not going over your budget, which I can explain in a later video if you guys want to see that, or if you want to hear about that. But if you can't do that right now, just buy at your local grocery store and be smart about it. Don't buy things that aren't on sale. Don't buy things that you don't eat either. If it is on sale and you don't eat it, probably don't buy it, because it's just going to sit in your freezer. But be smart. Buy those frozen fish fillets that are wild caught in half the price of the fresh fish. Buy 25 pounds of the ground beef when it's on sale for 2 for 10. Do stuff like that, and you're going to save yourself a whole lot of money. Okay, now foods to purchase at the grocery store. Number one are sale items. Yes, you want to shop the sale items as best as you can. You want to buy multiples of them. You want to store them properly at home, and you want to make sure that you actually use them. So I'm not encouraging you to go and buy a bunch of random things that are on sale that you won't eat. That's just a waste of your money because you're not going to eat it. But if there's a sale going on, a buy one, get one free of one of your favorite items, maybe you buy 3 or 4 of those items. If there's a sale section and things are 50% off, maybe you grab one of each. If something is discounted because the can's dented, great. You're going to buy that because the product isn't affected and you're still going to eat it, so go ahead and purchase that. So definitely shop the this is a tongue twister, sale section at your grocery store. At my grocery store, we have an area in the back that is all 50% off, which is amazing, and they do that all throughout the dairy products as well. So I honestly will go look there first and see, okay, is there anything I was planning on getting that I could substitute with one of these items that I'm finding on sale? And so this comes to my second suggestion at the grocery store, and that's to be flexible with your meal plan if you do a meal plan, or flexible with what you're eating. That doesn't mean to buy something you hate because you're not going to eat it, but it means to be flexible and to try new things, or just maybe buy something that you like a little bit less than something else, but that you know you're still going to eat. I'll do that all the time. I may have had a plan in my head for something I wanted to make for the week, but the beauty of learning to really be great with your resources and use everything that you have and spend less money on food is that you get to learn so much about cooking, and it's so much fun and it's so rewarding. But you need to stay flexible because you don't know what's going to be on sale at the grocery store. So I personally would recommend going to the grocery store, doing your shopping for either the first half or the whole month, and then planning out your meals after that, after seeing what you have on hand, rather than the other way around. If you plan your meals first, you're going to spend way more at the grocery store, and you're not going to be able to utilize those sale items. Number 3 is purchase anything that you find at the best price. If you have a local farmer's market or a local farm and they're selling, an organic item for, say asparagus, they sell it for $10.99 a pound. That would be really expensive, I think. But say they sell it for $10.99 a pound, but you go to your local grocer and you actually find organic asparagus for $5.99 a pound. Buy the one at the grocery store. It's organic. It may not be as incredible as the farm next door, but you're trying to save yourself some money. It's still organic. I would go ahead and buy a couple of those. Sorry, there's a fly. I would go ahead and buy a couple of those organic asparagus, and I would chop them up, and I would put half of them in the freezer to use at a later time to put in a soup or something, and I would cook the rest that week for dinner. So yeah, definitely buy things that are at the best price at the grocery store and take advantage of it. So that's all I was planning on talking about, but after going to the grocery store and filming some things for you today, I came up with some bonus tips, so I'm just going to go over those really quick. Avoid purchasing things like granola and granola bars at the grocery store. I know that's probably making some of you cringe because you're like, I buy those every week. But they're so expensive, and you want to be spending your money on whole foods. You're trying to turn your kitchen and your home into whole food items and ingredients that you make food with. And that's not saying that you're going to try to take 3 hours every day to cook. The goal is to be efficient and to cook well, and to be speedy with it, to have quick meals, but to have whole ingredients on hand so that you can make items with. So I make homemade granola. We don't really buy granola bars. I will on occasion if we really need them or if we have the budget for it, if we're super busy. But if you are trying to save money and eat really well, those are not the items to buy. You want to spend your money elsewhere on things like vegetables, fruit, and meat, and dairy. Number 2 is avoid prepackaged, pre-cooked, or prepackaged to cook meals. So don't buy small little rounds of rice that I found in the grocery store that are super easy to cook and you put in the microwave. You want to buy a huge bag of rice if you can. Yes, the rice in the little plastic thing is convenient, but A, the plastic is not very good for you when you're microwaving it, and B, it's so expensive. It is so much cheaper to buy a huge bag of rice. Number 3 is to buy frozen vegetables. And I know this is kind of crazy. A lot of you probably love fresh vegetables, but frozen vegetables are actually much more nutrient rich because they're frozen at not the peak of ripeness, but they're frozen a lot sooner along in the buying process than fresh vegetables are. Fresh vegetables are really, really old, and frozen vegetables are frozen more in their prime, so they hold on more nutrients. So not only that, but they're a lot cheaper. So that's a great way to save money. You know, maybe buy a few fresh things and then do your bulk veggies in the frozen area. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of some quick tips for you for the grocery store to stay in a minimal budget and to really utilize your resources well. If you're unable to buy in bulk right now because you just don't have access to it, or you don't have maybe you have small children and the thought of putting any more time and effort into buying groceries is stressing you out, and you just do your 1 or 2 grocery trips in the month, and you just want to know how to cut some money on your regular grocery shopping trip, you can go ahead and utilize these tips, and I assure you, you will save money. If you're not already doing these things, you will save money. So yeah, go ahead, give them a try. I would love to hear if it helped you. I would love for you to go ahead and email me or put in the comments below how these tips saved you money or helped you this week or this month on your grocery shopping. And don't forget that I do have my $300 a month grocery guide that helps you to learn how to bulk buy, to save money and preserve so that you can spend less on your groceries and you can enjoy your time elsewhere with your family, with your friends, and yeah, just have more money on hand, which is always really good. So thank you so much for joining, and thank you for being a part of my channel. I love getting to talk about food and cooking and nutrient-rich foods and saving money on your grocery bill. So don't forget to subscribe for some more videos that are coming really soon. I would love if you also put in the comments what you'd like to see for a next video or any other topics that interest you. I would love to hear about that. So thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you next time.